but he goes by like Goat Lucy. What Lucy is short for Lucifer. Okay, so a lot of people don't think, if you don't know, you can be fooled like, oh, it's something else. But all of the name references, and if it's some type of death reference or death looking image, there's just so many versions of this Goat Lucy. Okay, the Morning Star. Okay, there's a whole lot of, like, he has a lot of different aliases, and it's for deception. Okay, that's the reason why he has so many aliases.
Jesus Christ is the King!
Okay, you guys, we are back with another one. It is Capital J Productions. We got a long one for you. We got a great one for you. A video that's long overdue. Okay, we are talking about the devil today, Lucifer, right? Who is he, right? The reason why I'm making this video should be very obvious, right? For one, nobody really talks about this guy. A lot of people, I say about 98 to 99% of the people are scared of the devil. Okay. And I can understand why, right? And I'm going to be breaking all of these things down. Now, the reason why I'm able to talk about these things is because I serve God, because I serve Jesus Christ, the King. And I would not suggest anybody to just do what I'm doing. Okay. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I know I have the authority to do this. Okay. I have authority to talk about these things. It's the only reason why I'm talking about it. Okay. I would not suggest to do this if you're not, if you haven't spoken to God, if you haven't served God, you haven't served Christ. Okay. Because you got a lot of people doing that, and they're not protected. Okay. So, but I know I am, and I know this is my calling. This is what God wants me to do. I've been serving him for over 27 years or more. Okay, so I've talked to him. I've mentioned this plenty of times in my videos, and I'm gonna mention it again. You know, I talked to him, and he responds to me in dreams. Okay, this is how I know God is real. Everybody has dreams, okay? But most people are not willing to talk to him and get to learn him and just wait to hear from him in a dream. Most of you guys, that's why most of you guys don't believe in God, because y'all don't even try. Y'all don't. So that's why I'm here, okay? So let's get into it, because this information you guys are not going to be able to get anywhere. I promise you, okay? This information that I'm about to tell y'all, man, a lot of this stuff, I couldn't believe God even showed me a lot of this stuff in dreams. Okay. This is basically top notch secret that, even the elites, they don't want nobody knowing this stuff. Okay. So let's get into it. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. Right. And just get to the meat and potatoes. The devil, he's also known as Lucifer. Okay. Online, you can hear, there have all these different references of him, and there's a reason for that. Okay, but he goes by like Goat Lucy. What Lucy is short for Lucifer. Okay, so a lot of people don't think, if you don't know, you can be fooled like, oh, it's something else. But all of the name references, and if it's some type of death reference or death looking image, there's just so many versions of this Goat Lucy. Okay, the Morning Star. Okay, there's a whole lot of, like, he has a lot of different aliases, and it's for deception. Okay, that's the reason why he has so many aliases. So the devil's his main three things to do, and you can learn all of this is in the Bible. Okay, I'm just speaking in today's terms. I'm not going to the Bible. A lot of it I have gotten from the Bible, but a lot of these things God has shared to me in a dream as well. So, but he has three things that he mainly do. Okay, and his main things, which is his three sixes. Okay, he's known as 666, right? That's his number. That God has gave him that number, right? So, but the first six that he does is he kills. Okay, the second one is he steals. The third one is that he destroys. Okay, so that's where the 666 comes from. Most people don't know that, but those are the main three things that he do. Okay, so that's why a lot of people fear him, because he does those things. But let me tell you some facts about him. Okay, he was a musician in heaven. All right, we all know that, right? He was a musician in heaven. Now you got to pay attention to that. All right, that's his gift. Music is his gift. So it's funny how he got kicked out of heaven, right? He got kicked out of heaven, and because he seen that he's seen the glory of God, and what God has, the type of, glory he got. He saw how, angels and, were singing to him and praising him. And he got jealous of that, and he wanted that. He felt like he should be in that spot. Okay. And that is important to mention, because it was going to explain a lot of this stuff that's going on now, right? And why we have to put up with so much like evil now. Okay. So he gets kicked out of heaven, right? He tries to go up against God, and God has these angels that have more power than he does. Now, remember, he's a musician, so he don't know anything about war. Okay, y'all got to keep that in mind. He don't know anything about war. That's not his gift. Okay, this is why he got kicked out of heaven, because he don't even know anything about going to war at all. So, and he didn't even go up against God when he was in heaven. So he lost in heaven to Michael and his angels. Okay. So, like I said before, Satan he's doing something he has no business doing. Okay. And so to fast forward, he gets kicked out of heaven. So now he's here on earth. Now I do know exactly where God recently shared to me exactly where he is, right? So I know his location, but I'm not going to say his location, right? I mean, we can't do anything to him anyway, because God has a protection over him until a certain time. This is what most people and most pastors don't know. You're not going to be able to do anything to him. You can't kill him. You can't do anything, because God wants to destroy him, and God is going to destroy him at a certain time. Okay. So there's these certain events that has to happen before, God come back and take care of the devil himself. But he did share this to me in a dream. Right. So let's carry on. By the time Jesus came around, right, Jesus noticed, like in the Bible, if you read Jesus' story, he came and he tempted Jesus, but technically he didn't fight Jesus. So you got to ask the question, why didn't he fight him? If the devil is so strong, right, why didn't he go to war with Jesus? Like I said earlier, remember what I told you guys earlier. He's a musician. He knows nothing about fighting. This is why he didn't try to fight Jesus. He knew he couldn't beat Jesus. He knew he couldn't. He's when it comes to war, he just doesn't have it. Okay. So this is why he's smart. He learned a thing or two, and this is why he recruits so hard. He need people to listen to him and be willing to sacrifice themselves for him, because he knows he doesn't have the power to fight at all. So he has to lie, steal, and kill his way, through people. He has to deceive. Okay. So I have a list here to try to keep me in check, because I have, like I said before, I have so much information and stuff. But anyway, what I do want to talk about is actually, I'm not going to talk about that right now. Let's talk about how to stop the devil. Okay. You know who he is. But I kind of skipped a part. I want to talk about this first because when he got kicked out of earth, and I didn't write this down, but I'm glad God, made me rememberize this. But when he got kicked out of heaven, he caused us to sin, right? And how he caused that is we end up taking the forbidden fruit, right? So that's how he won the powers that he has now. And I'll talk about those powers that he have now. Okay. So God had tested us, which is Adam and Eve, the story, and we didn't listen, right? You could try to blame Eve. We can blame Eve. We can blame Adam. But the truth of the matter is we both end up, men and women both end up getting cursed by God. Okay. So if God says it's both our faults, then that's what it is, right? So, and we both got cursed in, many ways. So, but the devil actually, God gave the devil some abilities as well, right? He won some things because he got God's creation to listen to him when we should have just been listening to God. So what is these powers? You might be wondering, what did he gain, right? And why will God give the devil anything to something that God created, right? Well, that's the curse. That's one of the many curses that we have had since we end up listening to the devil. Now the devil has the power to give us dreams. This is what most people don't know. This is what most Christians do not know, right? And most pastors don't even know this, okay? The dreams that we have is from two sources, okay? We have dreams from God and we have dreams from the devil. This is something I know for a fact, okay? I've been studying dreams for ages. Understand dreams. I can understand the source, of a dream from who I'm talking about as far as myself. Now, in order to do it for somebody else, it's a lot that comes with it, right? You have to have that gift from God. That's number one. And you have to allow God to give you translations, right? So I'm not going to get into like how to translate dreams and all that type of stuff, but just know that all of us, right? We all have dreams, right? Satan knows this. This is why Satan had to come up with his own devices, right? Because he knows that God talked to us through visions and dreams. So he knows, yes, he does have the ability to give you dreams, but he don't have more authority than God does. So what does he do? He goes and create like the television, create cell phones, things to get in contact with you, things to keep your eyes, your attention, things that'll change your belief. Okay. Things that you can see, things that you can watch. You think of anything that you can see with your eyes, that's more like a man-made device. The devil is behind it. Okay. And it's the reason I just told you. The reason is because he's trying to change your belief, right? He don't want you to believe in God. He don't want you to know the truth. He wants you to be persuaded by evil. So, so I can go on and on with that, but let's move forward. So, how do we stop the devil? Okay.
And let me